to take her hands. Suddenly the young woman starts screaming, "Ah! Ah!" She said, "Oh, what is wrong? What's wrong?" The older woman jumps out the way. She says, "What happened? What's the matter with her? Why is she screaming?" He says, "I don't know." Every now and again she's been doing that. She'll start screaming out of nowhere. So she starts screaming some more. And a young woman runs to the door. And she tries to get out. But the young man, he runs to the door and he blocks her. He said, "I don't want you to go out in the hallway. You cannot go out. If you go out, they will see you. You don't want them to see you, right?" She says, "No, I want them to see me. I want them to see me in the fullness that we are. Why are we always hiding? It is not our fault. It's not our fault. We did nothing. We did nothing wrong. So we show them ourselves and we will be okay." And I looked shocked and couldn't understand what was happening. And he walks back over to the sofa. He sits her back down. And then she stood up again. And then she sat back down. And then she stood up again. And then she said, "I have to leave. It's just, I feel like they're coming to get me. I'm a prisoner here. I'm not safe here. I have to leave." And I said, "But you came to tell me something. What did you want to say? What did you need to tell me?" "Oh, yeah. We have to go outside. We have to go outside and let them see us in the fullness that we are. And we have to do it before the nighttime." This scenario went on for about half an hour. Then the screaming started again. "Ah!" The screaming started again. "Ah!" She runs to the door. This time she gets to the door before the young man does. She runs out in the hallway and she starts screaming some more. Gut-wrenching screams. Gut-wrenching screams. Called all the neighbors out into the hall, who started looking and wondering what was going on. Wondering if they should call the police. Wondering what to do. They did not know if this person was dangerous or not. So the young man said, "No, that she's okay. She's not dangerous. She's okay. You don't have to call anybody. Don't call the police. Don't call the police." So we get back in the house and the police had to be called because she became irrational and was not able to respond to any questions or conversation. So that day she was taken to the hospital. One of 7 hospitals that she's been in ever since. And it's been told that she has a couple of mental ailments that were created and caused by an emotional breakdown. A breakdown that had been happening could have been for the last several years, according to the doctors. It slowly but surely starts picking away and eating at you. And if you don't get help early, then it turns into a psychotic break. That's the end of the story for now. So the scenario that I told you, that I was just speaking to you about, is about someone that I know and love very dearly, and they've been having these psychotic episodes for a couple of years now, and is afraid to go to any type of hospital for fear of medications and being placed in a space where they will not be able to be allowed to leave. And now the mental break has gotten worse because the voices are now coming and they're telling her to do all kinds of things. Most of them, it's just negative thoughts. Negative thoughts that's constantly questioning her state of mind, questioning what she looks like, questioning who's her family, questioning who's her father, who's her mother, who's her siblings, where does she belong, whose problem is she, who's responsible for her, why did she have these powers And then it diminishes her all at the same time. You are not worth anything. You are a loser. Nobody wants to be around you. You do not have any friends. You are ugly. You are worthless. And then we'll turn back around and say, who gave you powers? You are not Jesus. But you are Jesus. Why are you here? What do you want? What powers are you going to wield today? These are all the voices that are being heard by her, and she's constantly saying that she sees things and hears things, but she is afraid to get any help. So I wanted to share that with you all for the purposes of letting you know that mental health is a anomaly. I don't know how to say that word. Anomaly. I think that's how you say it. And not every single doctor knows exactly how it happens. They can only come up with a small scenario of what they think it could be and then try to work around it by then giving medication and having them sit down to have counseling sessions, therapy sessions. But if the person is fearful and so afraid that they don't even want to sit still, they can't have a conversation. And that's not the kind of person that you can put in a room and tell them to stay put. So then you decide, okay, we're going to have to sedate and then tie them or handcuff them or put them in a straitjacket or something to control their movement so that they do not run around, or medicate them so much that they can't even move. She knows all that, so she refuses to do any of it. She won't have any of it. And sometimes it leads to violent reactions when she feels like her safety and her freedom is an issue. So I'm sharing all that to say, and I'm saying all that to say, that we can only do but so much when it comes to this type of situation. If there is a way for the person to get help, and they won't because they're afraid that something horrible is going to happen to them while they're getting help, or if this person is in denial because she also doesn't think that there's anything wrong, and all of the recollections of what she thinks is her history isn't, she will debate it and tell you you're wrong. And she doesn't think anything is really wrong with her. She thinks that someone else is playing games with her. So now there's the trust issue. So with the fear, the trust, the self-doubts, and all the other insecurities that's running around, it becomes difficult to help someone like this. So as you move forward through your day today, and as you move forward through every day, be mindful that the people that you see in the street, the people that you see talking to themselves, who appear to be talking to themselves, are really standing in front of someone. We just don't see them. They have a vision of someone, and they're communicating with that person. The people that you see rambling and going off and talking about things that make no sense to us, that we don't seem to understand, things that are shocking, like what happened last week, is a huge issue. Now, that's not to say that this person has mental issues or not, but at the end of the day, when you are taking such huge amounts of drugs in order for you to get well, and then you don't take them properly, that can play with your psyche. When you are dealing with a loss that you never got a chance to really deal with, that also plays with your psyche. when something traumatic or catastrophic happens in your life and changes you and turns you around, turns you inside out, and pulls you and pushes you into places that imprisons you in your mind, that imprisons your spirit, that locks you in cages inside of your soul, then you are no longer you. And of course, you're going to say things that don't make sense. You're going to do things that don't make sense. You're going to be in places that you don't normally be in. And everyone around you becomes an enemy because you feel like you're always in danger. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you all. I am going to continue to do my best to help from a distance, because I cannot do any of the hands-on helping that I was doing before, because I have found that I have become this person's codependent, and that doesn't work either. So I do what I can from time to time, and then I move on. And I believe, as I mentioned before, that I have people in my family that I love very much who have had all kinds of different illnesses, whether they suffer from deep depression or PTSD. It's always brought on by some type of deep-rooted trauma that they won't forgive themselves of, or that they won't let go. And sometimes they're holding on to it because they are fearful that the anger, once they let go of the anger, then they're left with somebody that they don't recognize because they've always been rooted in this anger, right? And then there's those who feel like that anger has become their companion. So why should they let go of something that they're so comfortable with? And then there are those who just go into a depression and feel like they are just not worthy to do or have anything that resembles any kind of happiness. They don't want to smile. They don't want to laugh. They don't want to be social. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do nothing. All they want to do is be wrapped up in a depressed state that they're in. So just be mindful that sometimes people go through things and things happen to them that will never be properly explained, that can only be monitored and helped if they allow themselves to get help, but shouldn't be pointed at and ridiculed and bullied or shamed. And if we can stop making them feel ashamed for things that they cannot control, then maybe they'll go and they'll get the help that they need, and maybe we'll have a better place for people to feel safer at, in order for them to move forward in their lives and become whole again. So thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Love and blessings. Keep rising and soaring. Whatever you do, make sure you continue to do it with love, because love is the thing. Love is the thing. And sometimes you can't love up front and within that person's life every day, then love them from afar. But love is the thing. When you do things for others, that transpires into, or transfers, I should say, into them getting help from somewhere else. I believe that when you put out great into the universe will return what it is that you need. So I invite you to be kind and put out great vibes into the universe and do something loving for yourself and for others today. And that will help the universe to give back to those who are struggling and trying to find out who they are and where they are and what to do, and feel safe about getting help without being ashamed about receiving that help. So thank you so very, very much. Have a blissfully blessed and beautiful, beautiful day. Continue to do well. You will definitely grow well and be well. Thank you, thank you. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. I'll be coming back.